Hi everyone, welcome to Wonderland session number 18. I'm very excited to be bringing this to you, and this one is even more special because this one I had you guys vote on. I asked you if you wanted to learn about tapping or if you wanted to learn about protecting your energy, and so the overwhelming vote was for protecting your energy. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about how do we maintain our own energy, how do we have boundaries, how do we respect ourselves and stay strong when things are going on around us that maybe are not exactly what we want to be dealing with. So this session is all about how to protect your energy, and there's a number of ways that you can do this. We're just going to jump straight into it because that is what we do. So here is where I want to begin. A few years ago, there was a woman, I'm forgetting her name, but she had an art project called Protect Your Magic. And she had these really cool pins and stuff like that, and I bought the pins, and I have like a carved wooden box that's in my bedroom that says Protect Your Magic on the top. And at the time, I remember buying this and thinking like, oh, that's a cool saying, but not really thinking a lot about what it means. And the older I get, the more I really understand what the message truly is behind Protect Your Magic. The message behind Protect Your Magic is hold on to your essence with everything you have. Don't let anyone else steal your spark or siphon your energy or make you feel that you need to be somebody other than you are in order to please them or to get their approval or to get their love. That is what Protect Your Magic means. It's about staying true to yourself no matter what. No matter who it is that wants you to change, no matter who it is that says you should be different or you should be this way or try that or do this thing differently, it's not your truth and you have to be yourself. And, you know, I have been thinking about this a lot recently, and so I have this box in my bedroom, and it's on top of the altar opposite my bed, and I see it every day, and I think, yes, I am protecting my magic. I am only going to do things that allow me to stay strong within myself, and I'm not going to give in, and I'm not going to try to, change myself in this myriad of ways to try and please someone who ultimately is just not that happy with themselves. So, when it comes to protecting your energy, that is the most important thing to keep in mind, that this is about holding on to who you are and really having these very firm boundaries around what you kind of behavior you'll allow, what kind of conversation you'll allow, and really being able to cut it off when it doesn't feel good. These are choices that you get to make, right? You get to decide whether this is acceptable or not, and if someone is allowed to talk to you this way or not. And so I want you to start really thinking about that when you're interacting with people in an everyday way. Are they saying things to you that make you feel bad about yourself or make you doubt yourself or question yourself? And if they are, do you really want them in your life? Do you really have room for that? I personally don't have room for that. I know that I am not perfect, but I also know that I am doing the best that I can, and I'm a work in progress, and I will always be continually striving to be the best person. And for me to be around someone who is critical or wants me to change or is trying to tear down my energy and tear down my essence or, criticize or condemn the things that I'm really passionate about and really love, then I just don't have time for that. And so that's a decision that I've made recently, and it feels really good to make that decision. And I have to say that, this idea of saying no and having boundaries is something that has taken me a long time to learn. So I'm 34, I'm going to be 35 this year, and, it's really been a process of learning to say no, because when we are in a relationship or a friendship or anything, we typically don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. We want to support them, make them feel loved, make them feel heard. We want to give them the benefit of the doubt and all of those things. But the older I get, the more I realize that the best thing I can do for myself and for the other person is to say no and have boundaries and know who I am and what I want, and to be really clear about that and not bullshit myself and not bullshit them either. So I recently went through a situation where I had to decide whether I wanted to go back to something that was comfortable or whether I wanted to stay in the magic of life and keep taking risks and keep gambling and keep growing in ways that are unknown but scary. And I've chosen to keep taking risks and grow in ways that are unknown and scary. And it's really intense. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I literally have no idea. That it could go either way. But in this moment, I know that the right thing for me is to take the risk and to back myself, right? And this is something I've been saying for a really long time, is that if you want to do something in the world, you have to choose yourself first. And that is what I'm doing in this situation. I'm choosing myself. And what I realized was that I am in a place where I get to choose, do I want to stay small and be in this comfortable situation, or do I want to take the risk and gamble and potentially go stratospheric? And the answer for me is that I want to go stratospheric. I always want to go stratospheric. And so making the choice to not do the safe thing and making the choice to do something that is really about loving myself is the right thing for me to do. And you might be in a similar situation right now where you're like, do I do this thing that is familiar and that I'm used to and it feels comfortable and all those things, or do I want to take the risk and go somewhere new and do a new thing? And I'm going to encourage you to do the new thing, because that's really how we grow. It's really how we change. It's really how we become the best versions of ourselves, is to keep pushing, growing, trying these new things that scare the shit out of us. And it's also much more exciting, and that's how you really live a big, beautiful life. I also think that if the other thing that's like comfortable and safe or whatever is kind of meant to be, you can always go back to it, right? It's probably not going anywhere. It's always going to be an option for you. But in the moment, you should always choose the thing that's like more like scary, because it's going to lead to greater rewards. So let's talk about a few little techniques you can use to help protect your energy. The first one is well, they're actually all really witchy. The first one is to draw up a seal of protection and either put it on your front door or put it in your wallet or put it in your handbag, wherever you like it. This is what the seal looks like. Now that is back to front on Instagram, but it looks like a backwards 5 in real life. So just so that makes sense to you. So this seal is the Douga Seal, and it came from this book, which is called The Enchanted Candle. This is like the witchiest book I own. And it's full of sigils like this. There you go. There's a bigger version. And this is what the seal is for. I'm just going to really, really briefly tell you this. Mother Douga is the slayer of demons and negative forces that bring sorrows and sufferings to humankind. Greed, hatred, spite, jealousy, envy, corruption, and violence, just to name a few. Okay, so reasons for invoking Mother Douga are simple: to slay those aspects of your enemy's power that are harming you. We have no wish to harm them, but only disarm them from harming us further. So this is about just fierce protection, right? And it's a really good thing to have on the back of your door. I really like it. So I drew mine up a few weeks ago, and I just stuck it on the back of my door, and it's really helped me out. I know this probably sounds crazy, but I really believe in the magical power of sigils as ritual protection. They're very, very special. So you can, if you're watching this on YouTube later on, you can hit pause on that sigil and draw it up and put it on your door, in your wallet, wherever you like, wherever you feel like you could use some protection. And it just keeps away jealousy, people who want to do you harm, corruption, violence, all of those things that like obviously we don't want to have in our lives. And you can just put that somewhere that you'll see it all the time, and it just keeps everything protected, which I really like. Somebody's asking what was the book. The book is called The Enchanted Candle by Lady Rhea. I'm pretty sure I bought this on Amazon. Another thing that's really good for protection, and this is like the oldest trick in the book, but it really works, is to surround yourself with evil eye symbols. I have these all over my house. This one came from Marrakesh. I have a lot of them. Again, this is something that I really believe in, just surrounding yourself with these signs of protection, sigils, etc. Really just making them a part of your life. And even if it seems superstitious, I really don't give a shit. My whole thing is I don't care how something works as long as it works. And these are legit. I have them on like every door in my house. I have them on my front door. I have them everywhere. So that is a really good way of doing things. I'm really into that. If it appeals to you, then I encourage you to get on the evil eye train. So a couple of other tactics that you can use is the zipping up technique, which I talked about on my blog a million years ago. Zipping up is the easiest technique ever for protecting your energy. And what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes. It'll take you like 2 seconds. You're going to visualize a really big zipper that runs from your pubic bone up the front of your body and up to the top of your head, right up here. And you're just going to envision pulling a huge zipper pull and just doing up the zipper and closing it. So this is something that you can do every day before you leave the house. This is something that I like to do when I'm walking down the street and I feel like there's an unsavory character nearby or whatever. When I zip up my energy field, it's like I become invisible. And people might still look at me, but nobody ever says anything to me, which is kind of a miracle, especially in New York City. So zipping up just like pulls your energy in. It's kind of like wearing a cloak of invisibility. And again, I know this sounds crazy, but it really works. And the proof is in the pudding. I have had friends who are in no way magically inclined try this and say that it works. It really does work. It's a really good thing to do, especially if you're one of those people, and I know there's a lot of you out there that when you're walking around, the crazy people are just attracted to you, right? You're sitting somewhere and some fucking nut job is gonna sit down next to you and start yammering. So if you are one of those people who attracts the crazies, you gotta start zipping up. Every morning before you leave the house, all the time, zip up your fucking energy, because when your energy is big and it's open and it's bright, it pulls in those crazy people. So you just want to keep it locked. It really, really works. And then another one that's similar to that and even easier is to put yourself inside a big pink bubble and just visualize that there is a big bubble around your body that nothing can come through. Another version of this, actually, hang on, I think I even have a prop. Do I have a prop? Let me see if I have a prop. I have to like dig around behind this curtain in my window to show you. The cars seem to think so. So the other thing you can do is visualize yourself, inside a big disco ball. And this idea was told to me years ago. I can't even remember who taught me this, but they said visualize yourself inside a disco ball where good things can come in, but bad stuff just gets bounced off the little pieces of mirror. And I love that as a technique. It's really good. Just put yourself in a disco ball and know that only good can come in and bad stuff gets bounced off. And it's a really good way of protecting your energy, making sure nothing like comes through. It's also really good if you feel that people can be envious of you or jealous of you. It really just helps to protect your energy field. So I really like that. And then the other techniques are really more on the practical side of having boundaries and learning how to say no. And that can be so hard because we want to placate other people. We want to make them feel good about themselves. We don't want to hurt their feelings, and we have empathy, and we don't want to see people in pain, right? That's so hard. But sometimes, in order to protect ourselves and in order to really foster our own safety and our own health and our own joy, we have to say no to the people in our lives that are bringing us down or are not contributing to us or make us feel bad about ourselves. And we have to start being really clear that we have no time for that and letting them know that it's not acceptable and that we don't want them around. So it's really about learning not to placate others and not to be a people pleaser. Because what happens is we try to please these other people, and in the process we completely lose ourselves. And then we wonder why we feel like shit, and why we have no energy, and why we're exhausted, and why we just want to nap all the time, right? And the reason for that is because we're around people that are draining our energy. We're around people that want us to be smaller than we are, and we're allowing them to siphon off our energy, and we're also expending a lot of energy trying to be what they want us to be. And here's a hot tip, that never works. That always leads to sadness and resentment and bitterness and just a huge fucking mess. So if you can avoid it, and I know that you can, because it's really just about making a choice, always choose yourself first. So when I say this, what I mean is when you're around someone, I want you to follow your feelings around what does it feel like to be with this person? Do they make me feel good about myself? Are they stressing me out? Do I feel tired around them? Do I feel like I have to constantly defend myself or explain myself to them? And if that's the case, then do you really have time for that in your life? Like, there are so many amazing things in the world that you can devote your time and your energy to. And do you really want to spend them in like an ongoing tennis match of defending yourself against somebody who likes to critique you or is, mad about their own life and is projecting their insecurities onto you? You don't want that. You have so much more to do in the world than to spend your time locked into that. So I really want to encourage you to just pay attention to how you're feeling when you're around people. And I think especially in romantic relationships, a lot of us have this idea that it's supposed to be hard work and it's a challenge and like this is how we grow and all of those things. And that is true. Relationships are how we grow, but I truly do not believe that it has to be difficult or hard. I really believe that it can be easy, that the conversation can flow, that the sexual chemistry can be on point and simple, and that you can be enthusiastic about each other and not play games and communicate clearly. All of these things can be your reality if you protect your energy and you say no to the things that don't feel that way. Because I feel like this stuff is a test from the universe, right? The universe is always testing us to say, how good do you want your life to be? What do you believe is possible for you? What do you really think you're capable of? And it's going to throw you these little bones all the time. And some of them are going to be shitty bones with no meat on them. And some of them are going to be bones that like look okay, but taste bad. You know what? This is a weird metaphor, but what's happening is we're constantly being tested of like, do you want this or are you going to hold out for something better? And holding out for something better can be really scary because you don't know what that something better is going to be. You don't necessarily know where it's going to come from. There may not be any certainty in this idea of what this better thing could be. But I want to encourage you to have faith, to know that it can be so much better than it is, and to really say no to the things that don't feel good, don't feel awesome, don't uplift you. I'm into this idea of things being a full body yes. I'm into this thing of you might be like anxious to go and see somebody, but then when you finally see them and when you are in the same space together, all that anxiety washes away and you just feel good, you feel adored, you feel loved, you feel special, you feel seen. And you don't feel like you have to pretend to be someone else. You don't feel like you have to try and do things differently or please them. You get to really be who you truly are. So that's what I wanted to say today about protecting your energy and protecting your magic. I hope that it's helpful for you. I know that this is something that like a lot of us struggle with, and it's something that is probably going to be a bit of an ongoing project for us, right? And as time goes on, we're going to learn more and more about standing up for ourselves and saying no and declaring our boundaries and like blocking the phone number or whatever it is that we have to do to get that sense of like closure and space for ourselves. So that is my Wonderland session on protecting your energy. Hope it was useful. I love you very much. As always, you can DM me on Instagram and let me know if there's something you'd like me to address in the next session. I think in the next session we might just be talking about tapping because, I mean, it's a really good thing to learn. But I would love for you to try these techniques, draw the seal up, put it on your door, hang some evil eyes, practice the bubble technique, practice zipping up. Super, super easy. These are things that are really easy to do. And then just be like, no, no, no to the stuff that is not feeling good. Life is too short for it to not feel fucking awesome all the time. It can feel awesome all the time. And you are being tested by the universe as to how good you really believe it can be. So step up to the plate, take the risk, and know that it can be better. And even if you're afraid that maybe it can't be better and you're not sure, take the fucking leap anyway. Take the leap, take the leap, take the leap. That is the moral of the story today. I love you. Have an amazing week. You're the shit.